Right, first machine of 2025 to get repaired is this 10-122 by a customer of ours. Says it's popping fuses. Let's see what's wrong with it. So we've checked the fuse is spot on. We're going to put it going there now. I found the first problem anyway. It's moving 150 bar when it should be moving 122, so we got to figure out why that is. So it's running for us, no bothers, plug straight into the mains, but it's moving off our pressure, and then what that equals to is the amps going up. So as you see here, this machine should be operating at like 12 odd amps. And it is peaking. And it's peaking at 15 amps, so that over time will eventually pop the fuse in this machine. So that is the issue. Now we got to figure it out. Okay, we've spotted one problem anyway. This was dropped into us. This is the 10-122, which means it's moving 10 litres a minute at 122 bar, and it should have a yellow tip by Kranzle, which is an 042, close to 045. It came into us with a purple tip with an 028 in it, which would be for a 7-122. So that would be the reason why it's restricting too much water, driving up the pressure, which would be the reason why our pressure's high and the amperage is high. So we've just put on a yellow tip, which is an 042 by Kranzle, which is what this machine should have. So we're going to pull the trigger there now with the yellow tip on, which is the correct tip for this machine, and see what the amps are like and see what the pressure's like. So as you can see from that, the amps are spot on, moving about 10 something amps, and the gauge is still climbing, as you'll see in that last clip. The gauge is still climbing, which says one or two things: something wrong with the gauge, or it's building pressure somewhere else. Don't think it's building pressure because the amps isn't going up, but the gauge is. So we're going to swap out the gauge now and see what happens. So we've just quickly swapped out the gauge, and let's see if that was what was at fault, because we did spot when we took the gauge off that the main shaft in the gauge is bent. So that could be leading to why you can see there the plate inside is not level. So anyway, we will see. As you'll see in that clip, perfect. She's sitting right exactly where it should be at 120 bar. And she's drawing only 10 odd amps, so that's perfect, spot on. Can't see any reason why this machine going forward pop fuses. Now it's still in desperate need of a service, as you can see from the oil there. We'll do that next. But anyway guys, there's a roundup of this video. The machine came into us symptom wise, popping fuses when in use, and that's why the customer dropped the machine off to us. We're after realising that the length was wrong in it, so I'm going to go back to the customer and see has he got another length for it, and the gauge is reading wrong as well. So now the gauge is not a big deal. He doesn't need to swap the gauge out if he doesn't want to read the gauge. It's not going to affect the machine at all. And we swap back the length. So in the bigger scale of things, there's actually nothing wrong with this machine. It just is what it is.